welcome back to the channel. This is my first impressions and thoughts on the SD Gundam G Generation Eternals closed beta. I am a long time Gundam fan. Played basically most, if not all, of the G Generation series, starting from the very first one on PS1. Well, I think there's another one before that on, what was it, WonderSwan? But PS1 was the one I played. Anyhow, so fortunately I got invited, and now I guess I'm here to experience the 2022 modern spin on a gacha version of G Generation. The game is basically what you, well, actually, because I don't work off a script, but let's just some basic thoughts on the game so far. The game plays well. The frame rate is amazing. The graphics are amazing. I guess typical of a Bandai game. Presentation looks to be, well, I mean, I guess it depends on your preference on aesthetics, but presentation to me looks pretty decent. There's no stuttering. There's no frame drops and such. So from a visual perspective, it's amazing. From an audio perspective, there are some original music, which is like the title music playing right now. But otherwise, the music is, I guess, what you would expect from a Gundam game. So if you're here for the Gundam OST, I'm pretty sure you will be able to enjoy that. I'll go over some of the other menu options later too. That said, the game did run quite hot. I am on a Samsung S22 right now. I was streaming it and playing it at the same time last night when it opened. So that basically took the whole battery in approximately 2.5 to 3 hours. It could be because of the streaming, but who knows? In the closed beta, there is no option to turn off or configure the graphics options. I don't know if there is such an option because most of the options are closed off anyways. So we'll see. Let's see here. I guess the first thing to talk about is this game pay to win? We don't really have an answer in the beta, but my take here is that the game is probably a little bit pay to win on a very generous scale. I'll show you the rates. So this is a rate up banner for Gundam, the 4-star Gundam and the 3-star Phoenix Power Unleashed with Eternal Arms. We'll talk about Eternal Arms later. But as you can see, the rates here actually aren't that bad, right? 4-star for 3%, and then 3-star for 15%, and then 97% for the 10 slot. So boosted is 1%, non-boosted is 0.5, and then the 3 stars are 0.8, 4, and then boosted is 1.5. The rates aren't that bad, to be honest. I already have Gundam, the boosted one, and I also got Phoenix twice, so 6% twice. I mean, and I did that in 30 pulls. So I could be lucky, but the couple of people that I was in Discord with also got Phoenix multiple times, not Gundam. So that leads me to believe that rates aren't that bad, but there's a reason why the rates aren't that bad, and we'll go into that. So that's banners, I guess, as a whole. I guess eventually they'll be releasing banners for different series, maybe different timelines. New releases, maybe Wish from the Mercury will get a banner. I don't know. I'd be looking forward to that. But that's what it looks like so far. We don't see any banners for pilots, and we don't see any banners for mods or optional parts. Here they call it mods. I suspect there will be at least a gacha for pilots, and I will tell you my thinking later. But hopefully not on modification part or optional parts because they have something else for that. So let's talk about stages because it is super straightforward. There are story stages, right? Story stages typically don't use energy or AP action points. And you just do them, you get to experience the stories, right? Like this. However, there's no voice acting. So you're just reading a PowerPoint slide, which is pretty disappointing in my opinion. Look at how smooth this is. So far, the beta story ends right at Jaburo. You finish normal and you go to hard. And then in hard, you start using AP, as you can see here, 20 AP. So I haven't done all of that yet. So far in the closed beta, there is only, oh yeah, spoiler warning, Gundam, there's Thunderbolt, and then there's Seed. They all end before the end of the story. Well, Thunderbolt isn't even finished yet, but they all end at, like the middle-ish of the mainline story. There is your typical daily dungeons to get upgrade materials. I'll talk about what all of these materials do later. There is an option to favorite your stages. So if you ever have a stage that you want to run, you can favorite that and come back. And then there's a tab called Eternal. So because I've only been playing for like 2-3 hours, I don't even know if I can clear these. But this is where I assume you farm mobile suit shards. Assume. Again, a lot of assumptions in this video. As you can see here, for clearing this mission, you get 2 Sakutu shards. I'm just grade up parts, whatever. And these grade up parts are used for many things, which I will all go, which at least the things that are unlocked, I'll go over later. There's the commander type, and then there's also the Domo type, and then there is the Dope. And then I would assume these are for the various mobile suits. They all look to be villain types. I don't know why, but that's all we got so far. So that's stages as a whole. Let's talk about Garage. Upgrade and training is very straightforward. You upgrade a mobile suit, a warship, or a character using parts you get from daily dungeons. So if I wanted to upgrade my Phoenix Gundam, then I do that. And when you upgrade your suit, you get points to allocate. So you can do that, right? Should I show you the other things? Actually, let's talk. I want to talk about grade up later. We'll talk about Alteration. Alteration is, I don't know, just think of it as another pillar to upgrade. But you see, as you can see in this case, you get a lot of bonuses like move +1, blah blah blah. This is actually pretty freaking important because movement in this game is severely hindered. Like, if you are a G-Gen fan like me, you'll know that typically Gundam has 4 move. Here he only has 3. So I'm assuming that they're locking the move behind these alterations, or maybe other optional parts. And it requires quite the amount of materials to do this. I haven't even seen these Gundam face looking things, but I can tell you for a fact that this thing, the one that says others, that's going to be hard to get. But that's Alteration. I'll talk about Dismantle later when I talk about grade up. You can see the weapons here. So this is the Eternal Arms version, which is from the gacha. And you get a special move from the Eternal Arms one. So as an example, the Gundam also has an Eternal Arms. And you just see, their abilities, or their weapons, I guess in this case, right? Every unit has an ability. Well, not every unit, but most units have abilities. Some have more than one. If you got a shield, you can block. If you are Phoenix, you have nano skin. If you are a Gundam, you have a shield, right? And you have magnetic coating and such. However, there's something called embedded abilities. Now, I don't quite remember how I got some of these. I know how I got one of these, but I don't know how I got some of these. Is that you can put additional abilities onto your mobile suits, and it seems like you can only do 5 at the most, but you can have 8 slots, so I guess you can pick and choose for different scenarios. So in this case, I have turned off phase shift, but that means that you can really customize your mobile suits to your own liking, which I think is pretty cool. I can already imagine most people, if doable, right? Embedding the most overpowered abilities, like everyone's gonna get Vive Field, everyone's gonna get phase or trans shift, if not Chobam armor. Everyone's gonna get GN drives. Everyone's gonna get cycle frames, biosensors, biocomputer, and such. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. But to be able to embed an ability, now I don't know how I got these. I'm assuming I got these as drops from a mission, because I don't check what rewards I get. You can also copy an ability from another unit, which is what I have done for Phase Shift. I got this from Aegis, or any other seed mobile suit, I guess you can say. Might as well talk about it now, which is Analyze. So I have a unit ability, Nano Skin, and let's just say I want to drop this onto our OG Gundam right here. So I should Analyze, okay? And you'll see that it requires 20 grade up parts. Are they called grade up parts? And a minuscule amount of capital. Well, I should say a lot of capital. And once you analyze it, you will have basically the embeddability in your inventory. And then from here, you can embed it onto Gundam. Now, I don't have the Phoenix grade up parts, so I can't do it. But that's basically how it works. That's how you embed abilities. Which I really like this. This is pretty cool. There's no RNG involved. Well, I mean, there's a minimal amount of RNG involved, but yeah, that is amazing. However, once you put something on, you can't take it off. I mean, you can take it off, but what you really do is you're scrapping it, which is just straight up deleting it. You can override it with something else, right? Or you can upgrade an ability. So, you know, if I upgrade magnetic coating, I think it turns into 12%. So the standard, you know, upgrade. Just think of these as like runes or trust stones or, you know, and the such. They're like gear upgrades. There is not a lot of mods yet. The only one I got was from a random drop from somewhere, which is, well, shock absorber armor. I don't have any skill mods yet, so I don't know if this would actually change the suit itself. Would it change weapons? Like, would a skill mod be like, you know, increase, you know, 10% beam damage, or 10, like would cycle frame be something like 10% cyclone damage? I don't know. No idea. So if someone can find out what skill mod does, that'd be great. Calibrate is obviously locked, so I can't see it. And develop, I thought this was going to be really good, but apparently it kind of sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. It's just very, I don't know. Maybe it depends on the game economy. But as you can see, leveling in this game is really freaking slow, and I have used a lot of these level up materials already. Oops. Shit. Yeah, switch. So basically, I've used a bunch of materials, and I haven't really leveled up. But you need level freaking 48 to get Helpless Gundam. Fortunately, I have Helpless Gundam from the gacha, right? So if you have a GM, let me find a GM. You know what? Let's use Gun Cannon. Right, I need 16 levels to get a GM. I need 15 levels to get a core fighter. Trust me, it's slow. So if I've been playing for what, like probably 4 hours by now, four hours ish, and my naturally leveled units, like units that I haven't used any EXP on, is level 9, level 10, as you can see to the right here. Just keep that in mind. Like maybe some other stages will give you more EXP later, but that's pretty much it. So let's talk about grade up, because this is probably the one that most people are concerned about, right? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 7 stars. How the hell do I get 7 stars? You require the grade up parts, right? And you of the particular suit, and you require graded parts 3. I'm assuming these are wildcards, because, or maybe it's just the case of the beta where I was able to grade up Phoenix from 3 to 4 stars without any of these things. But to get these, you basically have to dismantle a mobile suit. So from my gacha days, I have already amassed 3 red frames, and I have dismantled 2. In this case, each was 25. I don't know if you get more. of a higher grade dismantle, but they were all 2 stars, and when I dismantle them, I get 25, which is 50. So as you can see here, I'm missing these 50 grade up parts. I'm assuming these are wild cards. So I can, and there's a bug. So if I gotta come back and I can grade up. Ta-da! And that's how you grade up. You get a little bit of stats, right, and such. And you get more alteration levels. Because 300% is the one you want for move plus 1. Now, you can say, okay, well, does that mean I need a ton of dupes? Right? I need dupes to grade up. I need dupes to analyze. And I probably need dupes to do more stuff. I don't know if you need dupes to calibrate. I freaking hope not. Right? The answer is yes, you need a lot of dupes. However, you can purchase or you can produce mobile suits for a price of capitals. So you unlock this when the mobile suit is level 5, so that doesn't take very long. So as you can see here, I have Raider, right? Because my Raider is level 5, my Phoenix is level 5, that's Power Unleashed one, well, and the normal one, right? My Hellfist is level 5, so these are all gacha mobile suits, but I am able to produce them using capital to dismantle them, essentially, right? So this is basically the cycle, right? Is you pull the unit, you level it up to level 5, and you dismantle it. Well, not the first one, or maybe the first one you want, right? And you produce and you dismantle, and you produce and you dismantle. This looks like to be the upgrade cycle of how they want the resources to work, which is essentially a lot of dismantling, a lot of producing. This is actually okay. I find this acceptable compared to some other games. The only concern I have right now is that in the closed beta, the income for capital is severely low. So I can only imagine what it'd be like when you're going from 6-star to 7-star and getting a lot of abilities and such. But the same concept for warships and same concept for characters. The only thing with characters is abilities, same thing. I don't know what accessories are. I don't know what training rewards are. The only thing with characters is that the training points is shared between all characters. And I have no clue about grade upping a character or pilot so far, because we have no way in the closed beta, at least as far as I can see, to get character pilot shards, grade up parts. So develop, I've already talked about. You can see the tree. You can move between worlds, blah, blah. I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you're a GGN fan, you know what this is. So produce, I've already talked about. Scout is you can also scout pilots, but there's no duplicate pilots for me to scout. Like I can't do it. I can't get another mark for his grade up parts. These all appear to be OG G generation units. You do get some of the mainline series, like I got Amuro, right, from the story. And then analyze, I've already talked about. So that's Garage in general. And then organize. I mean, this is probably the last thing at this point. Organize is very straightforward. You just slot units, in this case mobile suits, you slot pilots, characters, to the slots. The only thing is and there's some terrain capacity, blah, blah. The only thing to consider is mobile suits have sizes, so I don't know if this actually matters, but let me try and see if I can break this. So Elmeth is huge, right? No. This guy's huge. No, let's just add Sam, because I know add Sam is huge. Okay, so it actually doesn't, it still uses 1 slot. But it uses 1 slot, but it probably takes more tiles on the map. Anyhow, you can turn off and turn on warship. Turning off warships basically make your units like master units, if you have played previous generations, G-gens before, where there's no ship, there's a leader of the group, which is the first guy. Well, actually, no, there is no leader. They changed that. So you just get 6 units on the field, and they basically regen HP and health and EN per turn, a little bit. There's tutorial somewhere that tells you that they regen more if they're closer to each other. I have not tried that yet. But if you have a warship and your mobile suits are adjacent, like literally the tile next to it, but not diagonal though. So this warship is, you can't see the size, and I don't feel like going into a mission. This warship is 2x4, 2x3, right? So you get 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and 3 or 4 on the sides. You have to be right next up to it, and you get 50% of health and EN per turn. So that's amazing, which I find to be more helpful in harder stages. Not that any of the stages are hard so far, but if you're doing something brainless, like the daily dungeons, right, I just go without the warship. And if you don't know what stats are required for the warship, well, go find another guide for that. So that's my impression so far. I think the game looks pretty good. Oh, there's shop too. Maybe I should talk about that too. So Alteration, I talked about it, right? You buy them here. Also use capital, also very expensive. I don't know, man. Like if capital income is hard to, if capital is hard to get, I feel like this game is pretty hard to play, which I wouldn't be surprised, because typically in G generation game you can dismantle mobile suits for capital, but here when you dismantle you just get the grade up parts. There's other currency too. There's another one called like platinum coins or something. I don't know how I got it too. A G shop. Here, there you go. There's these GP. I don't know how I got them. But anyhow, that's the gist of it so far. As you can see, most of these things are locked. There is a button for custom characters, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Gonna make my own crew of people, I guess. BGM settings, also looking forward to that. Maybe we can set, the title music to something we like from a series and such. And then, the other things are probably pretty standard for other games. So that's really it so far, at least as far as I can think of. Again, I'm not going to actually go into a stage, but the typical things of having tension, bonus step when you kill things, support defense, support attack, within the command area, and as such all exist within this game. There is an auto AI, and AI does prioritizing killing the enemy with using the least amount of EN possible. But if you have a hard hitting ability, like the Eternal Arms, right, then they'll be spamming that a lot. And then the other guy will be, supporting with Falcons or something. So far the game looks to be pretty good. There's also a group dispatch here, which I assume is either a cloud farming thingy or maybe a co-op. But I don't foresee this game having PvP, because G generation has never been tuned for PvP. Hopefully not. I mean, maybe auto PvP, but if there's manual PvP in this, holy shit, I don't know. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be playing the PvP part, but yeah, so it looks great. It looks great. Does it play great? I don't know. I think it plays okay. It's very reminiscent of a typical G generation experience. I mean, especially when you see the mobile suits and you see the animations, right? But the upgrade path, right, with the dismantling and producing is not the best. I also find that there is just way too much to do in one mobile suit. Like, this is a launch game, right? We're at launch state. This is not like 3 years in, you're like, okay, you do more of alterations now, right? So that kind of scares me for, what they're going to do in a year or 2 year up, when they start putting awakening on top of awakening on top of awakening. Maybe like super great up. I don't know, like you go from 7-star back to 1-star and you go all the way back to 7 again. That's what I'm kind of worried about. But yeah, so far the game looks great, listens great, plays okay, but I'm severely worried for the economy. But again, this is only a beta, so perhaps on release the game will be better. I should say these gems, I don't know what these things are called, but the gems income is also quite low. You need 1,500 to do a 10 pull, not even discounted. And you get 25 from a story mission, sometimes 50 on the hard, I think, and 25 on a normal. So those things run out, right? So I will not be using these CBT, like, second day they give you 500. I don't know if that's the standard, I would highly doubt it when the game is released, right? So looking at these rewards, I worry for these gems incomes. I don't know what these things are called. Does it tell me? It doesn't. But there's a tab for events, so hopefully events will give us something good. But otherwise, that's it. Hopefully this video was a little bit helpful to you for the people that couldn't play the CBT. I do have the entire night, last night, of everything I did streamed on Twitch. Maybe I'll upload that if people ask for it. But there's a lot of those other videos of no commentary up on the YouTube already. So thank you for watching, and I will see you around.